Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second week of our winter painting course. I'm really excited to paint with you today. Today, we're going to be continuing our little winter scene. So don't forget to check out the first video if you missed last week's class. Let's go. So welcome to week 2 of our little winter scene. So Amanda, I'm going to take you through step by step because it's a good recap for everybody else of the steps. So I will get you up to speed, and then everybody else, we're going to continue where we were last week, and it's a chance to do any little touch-ups because I find it's always nice when it's a week later and it's dry, fully dried naturally, and it's a nice surface to work on. Okay, just a brief recap. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly talk about vanishing points and multi-point perspective. So what I want you to do is imagine that you are stood on the other side of this lake and you're looking at this house and the horizon line is eye level. So I do have some really interesting notes on this for the drawing course, and I can always share it with the rest of you. So horizon lines tend to be eye level, and then anything above, we're going to be looking at vanishing points. This is what's really interesting. So basically I am putting the roof of the house as my horizon line roughly, because that's kind of roughly where the horizon line is. So if you kind of look at this little bit of land here and then the roof of the house, that's roughly my horizon line. So a good thing to do with vanishing points is to use tape. If you don't want to draw the vanishing point onto your canvas, you could use tape to identify the vanishing points. But this house is so tiny, to be honest, I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm not going to kind of draw out the vanishing points. If, you know, I was drawing this on a very large canvas and accurate perspective was really important, then I would possibly tape it or even draw out my vanishing points just to get the perspective right. But on this one, I'm just going to eyeball it, but I just wanted you to see how you get these angles of the house. So, so the rooftop is going to be my kind of pretty much on my horizon line, so my eye level. So, the bottom of the house is kind of receding to this vanishing point. And then, I feel like this perspective is off on the painting, so I'm going to fix that. This is actually another vanishing point, so it's going to go to the horizon line. Where's my... You see this vanishing point here? So this point here, so that's my center point. So everything goes from the center point, and I'm gonna... don't have a ruler handy. So that's my horizon line there. So yeah, so this is the vanishing point. I feel like that's wrong. But, okay, so we're gonna briefly do this. So I'm gonna make a little brown. So if you want to kind of cheat, you can just do brown out of a tube, something like a burnt umber. You want a dark brown.
Julie,
Yes.
I'm supposed to be using the flat brush for the doing the blending, right? Okay.
Flat brush. Yeah. So this is a burnt umber. This is a nice dark brown. It works really well with blue. So the nice thing is burnt umber plus ultramarine blue makes paint gray. So it's really good for shadows too, to combine blue and brown together. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this out. This is pretty old, so yeah, good job. It hasn't dried out. I was worried it might have dried out. Okay, so don't worry about the little detail with the lights and stuff. We can put that in later. Okay, so I'm just going to use a small flat brush, a little bit of paint. So as I say, our first vanishing point, the top of the house is kind of almost level with our horizon line. So I don't often put a house dead center. I might just put it slightly off to one side. So this is a good idea if you do have a little bit of space. I know on this picture it's dead center, but I don't really like things to be dead center. I feel like it doesn't really read very well as a painting. So I'm going to go slightly off to the right. So with regards to width, I mean, I'm painting very small, so mine's only going to be about a finger wide. But obviously, you know, you work on what's going on with what size canvas you have.
If I don't have burnt umber, which I don't, how can I make the
You
brown?
can, well, you can take, do you have any browns in a tube?
I have raw umber and I've got burnt sienna.
Okay, so raw umber, you can just add a little bit of blue to it to darken it,
Uh-huh.
and that would be absolutely fine.
Okay.
Okay, so with regards to the vanishing point, this is the center point. So this is this point here, the side of the house. And then I'm going to just do a slight angle. And I'm gonna zoom this in. Yeah. Is that clear for everybody? I just really wanted to zoom this way in so you can see. So my vanishing point is at the edge of my canvas. So I'm going to do a slight angle. It's only subtle, so don't worry if you just end up doing a rectangle. It doesn't really, because it's so subtle. You can always put the angle back with some snow and pile it up more on one edge. So can you see it's just a very slight angle going that way? Might make this a tiny bit lighter just so that it shows up. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter.
Julie, so it's
Hi.
it's getting narrower toward the right.
It's getting narrower towards the right. Yeah, thank you. That's a really good way of explaining it. So Leandra, remember when we did our street scene?
Yes.
Same principle. So our center line is the edge of our house right here. That's our center line. And then everything else is going towards that vanishing point on the right. And then the same on the left. I'm going to do the left a little bit lighter because that's the side facing the moon. So there would be more light. And again, smaller, almost straight on this side. But again, a slight angle because it's going towards the opposite side vanishing point. And I'm doing it like, I'm kind of exaggerating how light I'm doing just so it shows up on the camera a bit. Because this would be, the moon is reflecting. So that would be lighter. And this side is in shadow. So this is all bringing in what we're doing on a Thursday. And I have some excellent videos from some other artists on vanishing points I can share with you. And there's one guy who's very good who he literally has a camera and he walks towards and away from the camera explaining perspective, and I don't know whether you've had a chance to watch that one yet, Leanne, but I found that.
Oh, Tesso.
Yeah,
Kenzo.
he's really good. I really like him.
Kenzo? I'm not sure what his name
Kenzo or
is.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I actually found a few more on Perspective last night. So I've actually added to week 1 and week 2 notes with some more reference videos. So there's
Oh,
more
that's
pictures
great.
and more reference. So every time I find something interesting, I'll keep building. But yeah, I added a whole bunch of other video links and pictures. Just explaining. There's one on multi-point perspective, which we're going to be talking about this week, with like a disappearing road. You know, if a road's going over a hill, with multi-point perspective. So I mean, you can get very complicated with perspective. That's why I steer away from buildings and things in painting, because it's really hard to explain. One building's great, but when you start bringing in more than one, then you've got multi-point perspective, and then it's like, oh. Nature's a lot more forgiving.
We just pile up the snow. and
Yeah, we just pile up the snow. This is why I like doing perspective with winter scenes, because you just add a whole bunch of snow where you had little oopses. Right, I'm just going to raise this up slightly to do the next part of the perspective. I do want to keep close here so you can see it. So can you see my roof? So my roof, the vanishing point is kind of up here. It's actually almost in line with the moon, my vanishing point here. So it's kind of slightly above and to the left of the moon. So my roof is this angle and this angle, and then it's all going towards that vanishing point. So if you take the edge of your house and imagine a vanishing point up and above the moon, and then change the angle that way, then you'll get the roof pretty good. So I'm gonna do that with you now. So let's move over to white for now. We can put in any shadows later. So I'm going to use a little pencil. So let's put imaginary line above the moon at the top of our canvas. And then this is only going to be, again, about 1 finger tall. So I'm going to do a little line there. Now the other side is not parallel. So imagine, find your vanishing point and then pivot. So you want to pivot the vanishing point. Does that make sense? Like you're pivoting.
Yes.
You're not
yes.
doing a copycat angle, you're pivoting. So I'm pivoting. When I do this painting in a just a 2-hour class, I do not bother explaining all of this, but I thought it'd be really interesting for you to know why the angles are the way they are. And then the top line is on our level with our horizon, so the top line stays straight. And we can fill that in. I'm hoping this will help with all future painting, it was a long time before this was explained to me, so I do try and pass on information that I wish I'd known earlier on. It would have stopped me making a lot of mistakes and weird houses that don't look like houses. So
That's what makes you such a great teacher.
oh, you're too nice. I just try and pass on what I wish I'd known. Okay, so again, if you think about, I'm just going to do the vanishing point for the other side of the building. So you see here, this side, it's pretty much a little triangle, so that's kind of easy. But so you know where it's going, the vanishing point is like way off. It's kind of in line with, see how it should be in line with the moon, because the vanishing point should be straight like that. So the next one should be in line with the moon. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna do this a slightly darker brown, but it's basically, don't forget, it's facing the moon, so it will be. And just remember, snow fixes everything.
So the top of the roof is parallel to the bottom edge, right? They're on the same.
Yeah, it's because it's on the horizon, so it would be completely straight. Yeah, the top. Yeah. So there you go. Hopefully that's a little house that's in perspective. And hopefully you understand why it's in perspective, but the shadows help too by just changing the color slightly, making the side facing our light source a little bit lighter. And I'm actually going to walk a little bit of snow down the side here. Now, I'm actually thinking I'm going to leave off this little roof because I just feel like it doesn't look right. I don't really like this.
I'm relieved about that because I didn't want to do that.
No, I really don't think it looks right. I mean, what is that supposed to be? Is it like a lean-to?
Like an overhang or something.
Is it like a carport? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's confusing, so I'm gonna leave it off. I hope
It
that's
looks-
okay.
It
I
looks
think-
like an accident waiting to happen with all the snow on it.
It does. It looks like somebody's gonna get dumped on the head with all it. Yeah.
And no
I'm not-
no post to hold it up.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't look right, so I'm not gonna do that. You can do it if you want, but I'm not.
That's okay. I don't want.
Okay, so you can we're gonna do a little door because we're gonna be a little bit inventive now. So I'm gonna put a little door and a window in there. So I'm gonna get out. Don't forget, if we want to put yellow on a dark surface, we put white first, so we give it like an undercoat. So I'm gonna do the little light windows white first and then put yellow on afterwards. The door, I'm gonna mix some blue and brown together to make it darker. So my windows. Now, if this was huge, we would line our windows up with our vanishing point. They would recede the same way that a vanishing, but this is so tiny. It's really not going to matter that much, but technically the windows would be, the angle would go slightly up towards our vanishing point, but I just wanted to explain why. But we don't really need to worry about that too much, so. And this one would be slightly smaller again if it was large scale because it's further away. I'm going to put the little window frame in later. So I'm doing it white first and then I'll be putting yellow on later. Again, the bottom of this window will be following our vanishing point. Slightly at an angle. So I'm just mixing a little bit of brown with my blue to make the door color. I just feel like it looks more natural than black, but if you want to use black, that's fine too. Might put a little round window up there. Did anybody do anything really fun over the weekend?
Well, it was my birthday on the weekend, so I got together with all my family.
Happy birthday!
Oh, happy birthday. December baby.
That's right. Sagittarius through and through.
That's lovely.
So did you celebrate at home or you went out?
I went to my son's place in the Grand Valley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We had a lovely prime rib dinner. It was lovely.
Good.
Lovely.
Oh,
I went to see the St. Michael's Boys Choir at Massey Hall.
Oh,
Nice.
Was interesting. I sort of thought, because it's advertised as their Christmas performance. So I had this expectation that it would be him
Christmassy?
and- yeah, and there were three. I mean, the music was beautiful, but I didn't know half of it, so I felt a bit lost. But anyway, it was good.
I went to see the Jimmy Stahl Big Band yesterday at Burlington Performing Arts,
Oh yeah.
and it was proper Christmas songs played by a big band with
Oh
like a Frank Sinatra impersonator and
yeah, yeah.
a girl singer, because I used to sing in a big band, so it was actually the guitarist in my band was performing, so we went to support him and it was really fun.
Good.
I don't know if anybody listens to CBC radio.
Oh, there's Sounds of the Season.
I got
concert.
up at 3 a.m. on Friday to attend that. It was broadcast from 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.
Wow.
Oh,
I had to, for the first time in my life, I had to take what they call the blue light bus line, which is the transit that runs at night in Toronto. So
oh,
I'd always wanted to attend that concert, and it's the first time they've done it since COVID. But
Wow.
in the past, you had to just line up, and like people would start lining up a day before. So, but this is the first year you could order the tickets online. It's free, but you give. It's a charitable cause. So
Oh, wow.
And
And you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was good fun.
what
I
was
guess-
it again?
I didn't realize, well, I don't know if anybody are Jeopardy watchers, Mateo Roach was,
Oh, yes, I've been watching her. Yeah, she's amazing.
yeah, she was a guest on the show, and they did a skit with her. It was funny. And I didn't realize that the official voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Tweety Bird is now a gentleman who's from Markham. So he was there and doing all the voices. Every question they asked him, he answered in one of those voices. So
No
that was
way.
Oh, that's fun.
That's amazing. So, excuse me. So I'm gonna put some yellow over my white now. Hopefully my white is
Can I
dry.
just quickly show you, I'm not sure about my perspective. Can I, before I move on, does that, I'm a
I
little
feel-
bit more
I
of an
feel like
angle.
This angle, it's too angular. I would bring that down a bit.
Okay,
The
and the
side-
sides okay?
yeah,
The
because it's
side
supposed
is-
to go towards your horizon line. It's supposed to go to the so your
Okay,
vanishing point is on your horizon line.
okay, my horizon line is off, okay.
I just
is
I
it-
feel like it's too steep, that way.
Yes, okay. And the window, I made this one smaller and
Yep.
made it darker. But I
Yep.
don't probably need that so much if I reduce the angle, so.
Yeah, I
maybe
don't think
I'll
you
just
need
leave
to.
it.
I
Yeah,
just so Amanda, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing.
I'm good. I think I'm done. I'm just changing out my water.
Okay. I just want to make sure you where you need to be.
I'm gonna show you where I am.
Okay. So I'm doing yellow over the white now, and you'll thank me for doing it that way because it will not show without putting that white under painting. And then when we've done this, so I'm going to give you a cheat. Okay. So we're going to do a very teeny tiny window frame. So it's very tiny. So it can be a bit tricky. If you have a black Sharpie or brown Sharpie, you may do it with Sharpie. Just giving you an out, or even like a little dark pencil. So if you're struggling with getting a brush fine enough for this, then you don't have to do the cross. You could just put a window frame around it, but you can for sure draw around it with a Sharpie if painting is a bit, I know sometimes I don't have a steady hand at all. Don't mind me, I'm just knocking a million things over trying to find some paint. How's everybody doing with that yellow? So I'm gonna take my flat brush and I've just mixed blue and brown together. And I'm just gonna work my way around my window frame. But as I say, you can use a little Sharpie or a pen if it's easier,
Hey, Julie, okay.
or a
do you
pencil.
want- Julie, do you want to take a look at what I've got?
I
done?
would love to see what you've done so far. Yeah, can I spotlight you? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Start the recording again.
Thank you. That's where I wish I had an undo button. Oh man. This oops. Where's the undo button?
Rewind.
Ah,
We need a rewind.
ah. Oh, I'm just making it worse now. That's annoying. Okay, I'm gonna have to let it dry and fix that in a minute. It's some kind of dark blob looking out of the window. Don't know what's going on there, but I will fix it. Just a happy accident.
A grizzly bear broke into the cabin.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Man. That's so annoying. Yeah, it's a grizzly that broke into the cabin. Yep.
So the moon reflection isn't part of perspective,
Not really. Yeah.
or should it? Like it's,
I see what you mean.
so I didn't know if you're thinking
Well,
of,
if the light from the moon is going directly down, but
but
then
where the
the-
light goes depends on how you're looking at it, isn't it?
yeah, and it's the pivot point as well. So I look at pivot points. So I'll start with my moon there. I see what you mean. I mean, this painting I don't feel like is completely accurate. I mean, this is correct. The shadow trees here, see the pivot point and the moon.
Right. But I didn't.
This side is kind of wrong. It should be there, and they've got it going straight down there.
So
But it
should
should be like that. So if you pick the light source, the pivot point would be from the light source.
oh,
so,
okay,
yeah.
That's useful. I didn't even think to ever do that for shadows. That's really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I pick the light source and then do the pivot point from the light source.
So does it
Yeah.
seem off, the light?
It
the-
is off.
Where
Like
would you,
these are correct.
so where would you put the light for the moon? It just struck me as off,
It's directly down here. I would keep it where it is.
more or
directly.
less, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit more to the, pivoted to the.
Yeah. But
Thank
this shadow is wrong. This one is coming straight down, and it should be there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I never knew how to do that. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's handy looking at pivot points. So does help with the shadows. I mean, you can get more complicated when there's a building in the way, because then it's diffusing the shadow. It's not like it's it then got its own vanishing point. But just for simplicity, this line's right. See this line here? That line's correct. But I would say, yeah, and that one's kind of correct. But some of them are, this one's definitely off. Yeah. Don't like to criticize somebody else's painting, but I like
not-
the composition.
We're not criticizing it, we're learning from it.
We're learning from it, exactly. Yeah. We're using it as a learning point. Okay.
Okay, my cabin is crooked and my windows are crooked. They're not following the vanishing point, and I just wonder if at this point I can do anything to fix it.
I would just put some brown in. You can fix it with a little bit of brown. Straighten it up.
The windows,
They're not too bad.
well, they're a little bit slanted.
Your shadow is great.
Oh, that's
no.
good. I put it in because I thought maybe you wouldn't see the crooked building.
Haven't even done my shadows yet. Yeah, your shadows look great. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You can even put a little bit of snow to get your lines straight.
Okay.
It's not off enough to really worry about
Well,
it.
yeah, I also parked it in front of the trees that you liked. Anyway.
So,
before it, trees.
I'm going to put in, I don't know if you see these kind of, oh, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Okay, so before we do the big trees in the foreground, there's like a few little I don't know what these are, like grasses or something. They're kind of bushes, some kind. Whatever they are, I'm gonna put a few of them in.
Oh, I see.
These kind of little white things, whatever they're supposed to be. Kind of little spiky things. Whatever you choose them to be, it just adds a little bit of depth.
Okay, Julie, what do you think of this?
Let's see. Good. Excellent. So,
Good?
so I'm gonna show you to do the distant trees, because I've left a little space here so I can show you. So you want to get so tint, tone, and shade. So think tint is adding white, tone is adding gray, shade is adding black. So we're gonna tone our blue to make it slightly darker than the sky. Actually, no, before you do that, let's do the moon. So you want to get we're not going to put the moon in straight away. I want you to just get some white paint and swirl it in an increasing circle. So swirl it, and you want to blend it till it disappears. So start in a point with some white paint and then just swirl it. You could use a filbert, you know, the rounded edge brush, one of these. The brush that's kind of got a round edge, and just start in the middle and then swirl it out. And then just, you can kind of just dab around it to blend it until it disappears.
Okay, should I use a number 6 or a smaller one?
This is a master stroke number 2, so, but it's a different brand. I mean, it's about half the width of my pinky finger. Depends how big a canvas you're working on as well.
Okay.
So. And then we'll do the trees together.
Okay, I'll start with the white.
Okay, so I'm just gonna explain the shadows of the pivot points. So I'm gonna make I'm gonna take some blue and I'm gonna add a bit of brown to it to gray it down. And this will also capture a little bit of the brown that's in the cottage, and then I'm gonna add some white.
Say those colors again. You said
Brown, blue, and white.
brown,
So it's
blue,
basically the tone from on Tint, Tone, and Shade, but I'm using brown instead of black to make
Okay.
my gray.
and
And then I'm gonna look at my pivot point from my little house. So I'm gonna put a line going from the moon. And shadow is always darkest close to where they're coming from, and then they kind of disperse. So I'm starting a little bit lighter than I need. And then I'm going to move my pivot point to the side. So this isn't, it's still not too dark because I'm going to make it darker in a minute. And don't forget that pivot point can go into your water too. So you can even put a glaze of, you know, a darker water. So you could put some black in with your blue, because it's gonna be in the water as well.
Julie, I have a question.
Yep.
So this is my white spot so far. How
Yep.
does it doesn't seem to keep disappearing out, fading. It just kind of dries up at this point.
So use a little bit of water with it. Yeah. Going back to the glazing technique again, just use a little bit of water with it.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
You would choose the middle of the moon. My moon's a little bit lower than yours.
Yeah.
So the middle of the moon?
Yeah. Middle of the moon. So it's the same for the trees on the other side. You take your pivot point from the moon. And you can do the shadow with glaze. You don't have to use super thick paint. You could add a bit of water to it. So I'm going to do thick paint close to my trees, and then I'm going to thin it down with some water to take it out a bit. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, so pivot point again for these trees. Almost directly below to start with.
Okay. What moves that?
I find it helps just to put something in the way, and then it's hard to get it wrong then, you know. That's why I use a paintbrush or a ruler.
This would have been good for me for the haystacks because I never got that shadow right.
Yeah.
That was the first time I think we did shadows.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The Tim Hortons muffin.
Oh yeah. But we weren't doing as much on you know, fundamentals then. We were just kind of painting for fun. We're getting more into the nitty-gritty now, you know.
Yeah, we're getting more sophisticated.
I know.
It's still fun.
Yeah, it's still fun.
Good.
I couldn't put you straight into all of that straight away. It would have scared you off.
Too much info too fast and it doesn't stick.
Exactly.
So we're lightening the shade as it gets farther from the building,
Yeah, as it gets further away, it's getting a little bit lighter.
a little bit more white.
How's that, Julie?
Yeah, that's good. So now dip your finger in your white paint and just stick it on where you want your moon. That's the easy bit.
Oh, I think it's too blue. Oh, darn it.
I haven't put these trees in yet, but I know where the shadow's gonna go, so. Okay, so Amanda, I'm just gonna show you these trees for a second. So you want to get, you can either just add gray, or you can add brown and white to gray down your blue. But you kind of want to add gray to your blue. And then imagine I'm going to put some trees here. You want to start with a couple of dots and then kind of dot from side to side. So if you start with a couple of dots, they won't go too wide too quickly. Dot, dot.
What brush are you using?
I'm just using a small flat, but you could use, you know, a round if you want, as long as you can get some little dots at the top to start with.
And what color am I gonna mix in my palette?
So you want to tone your blue background color. So tone is adding gray to your blue background color. Tint, tone, and shade.
Which one is the shade again?
So shade is adding black, tone is adding gray, tint is adding white.
So I'm actually just gonna add the gray to the background color.
Yes.
Right.
And yet dot, 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 and then side to side. Okay, and then we're going to start on our birch trees for everybody else. Okay, so for everybody else, we're going to take our burnt umber and we're going to mix it with our blue. I'm going to use phthalo blue, or you can actually, I'm going to use ultramarine and burnt umber. And let's start with the one on this side first.
Is phthalo blue, is that close enough to marine,
Yeah.
aquamarine?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, marine.
ultramarine. Yeah.
Ultramarine, yes. Thank you.
So I'm going to do my trees a lot thinner than I want them to be, because I'm going to thicken them out with some white paint. So I'm going to start with my, oh, yeah, I'm going to start with my, and take it all the way almost to the top.
Julie, did you say I could add something to my black that's on my palette to make it gray?
Yeah, add white to it.
Add white, okay.
And then add a little bit of blue to it. Yeah.
And that just saves me from having to, because I've got gray in a tube.
No, don't ever use gray in a tube. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're never going to get the shade that you want. So I don't even buy gray in a tube.
So starting here.
So don't worry about if it goes too thick, because snow fixes everything.
Would you say half and half of the ultramarine and the black?
Brown. Yeah,
Oh, brown, sorry. It's
yeah,
brown.
about half and
ultra-
half. Yeah,
Oh, half and half. Okay, thank you.
yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do all my tree outlines first, but say we're gonna go thinner than we think we need because we are gonna add white for the main body of the tree. We're just establishing where the lines are gonna go. So just brown and blue for this. A little bit more brown in mine now. My blue. And they're going to be a lot browner at the base of the tree.
Julie, how far down into the water, if you will, should I put the trees?
At the moment, it doesn't really matter because we're going to put the white horizon line in later. But I would kind of go to your horizon line and then we're going to put all the white land in later. Okay, when you have your tree outline, we're going to start putting in the white.
Hey, Julie, how many trees do I need? Do you think that's enough?
I would make them a lot smaller.
Okay,
I've done clusters of like 10. So I would, so think of a line rather than, think of, see, a little sheet of paper. So you want to do your trees like, start with a little dot
mm-hmm,
and start by making just a line
okay,
and then go side to side and keep them a lot skinnier
okay,
like this. And then I'm going side to side. So you want them more like that.
okay,
And so make them a lot smaller, and then each time you want to start with, I would say do like 4 dots and then start going side to side, dot, dot, dot.
okay,
Lots of little dots like that. Yeah.
okay. Okay, sounds good.
Okay. I'm just dabbing some white. And then I'm gonna get a little bit more of my dark color. I'm gonna start putting in a few little dabs of just to kind of little dots to create that little birch tree feel.
And those would be on the left away
Yeah.
with the light. right?
Away from the light. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they would be on both sides, but majority of them you want on the left. Yeah. I don't think you can see, but this painting has a little bit of pink in it. See these little clusters? It's kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
like, yeah, like little clusters of kind of slightly pink. I kind of like that pink. So I think I'm gonna wait till my trees dry, but I'm gonna put this on last. So I'm gonna move over to do these trees, but I'm gonna put these like little clusters. We could put some stars at this point before we go too far. Remember how we did stars? Do you can remember? We got a large-ish brush with some very watered down white paint. This is fun. Let's have a little bit of fun. We've done a lot of thinking today. So I'm going to get some watered down white paint. You want to make it the consistency of milk. You can use a toothbrush or a large brush. So consistency of milk. Wetter the better, really. And then I'm going to scoop up a little bit, and then I'm going to do my Hungry Cat's pillar finger. So I'm going to pull the bristles back really close to the canvas. So water down paint. And I'm making some stars or falling snow, whatever you want to call it. Depends how carried away you get. See that? It's just kind of subtle. And I'm going to concentrate it around the moon where the moon would be catching the light, because you wouldn't really see it. So it's very easy to get carried away with this. And sometimes you get like a little shooting star, but yeah, just a little bit of.
The last time we were doing the, this reminds me of the lamp post last Christmas.
Oh yeah, do you remember
we-
that?
With
That was
the
lovely.
two little cardins.
Yeah.
And I used Susan's toothpick thing.
Yeah.
And somehow it worked out better for me than
Ah.
trying to do the flicking thing. I didn't get the flicking thing right, but I like the toothpick idea.
Oh yeah,
Worked
that's
for
good.
me.
You have to find what works for you. Okay, so I'm just walking up. A little bit on this side. Brown. Okay. A bit more brown. Okay, we got about 15 minutes left, just so you know we're at the time. So I'm going more on the brown side than the blue side, but still blue and brown. And I'm just gonna kind of dot my way up my trees a little bit. So I don't want a smooth white line. I want to kind of dot it up so it looks like Like those little notches that you see in the birch trees. Oh, let's see, Amanda. Oh, yeah, much better, much better. Yeah. Oh, we lost somebody. Jane.
Good morning. Wow.
Hi, Jane. How are
Look
you?
at those. I'm okay. That looks wonderful. I can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
Julie,
Yeah.
should I do the tree line all the way across or should I leave a space for the house?
I would do it all the way across just to keep things simple.
Okay,
Let's just keep it really simple today.
okay. And then I can go back and watch the first video and then keep going
Yes,
from that point.
exactly. Yeah. Then you'll be all up to speed. You've done really well.
Thank you.
Do you remember the waterfall we did a while ago? I don't know whether I did it with, did I do the waterfall with this group?
Yes, we did a waterfall.
Yeah, so I'm doing that today at the senior center.
Oh,
I found that hard to do.
Okay, so I'm gonna get some white and then I'm actually gonna do that slightly pinky feel. I'm gonna start with some white. And
Julie, what did you add in to that one on the left-hand side? The snow. Is it like where it's been blowing or? Right there.
right here.
No, it looks like a snow-covered roof.
No, it's just the light coming through the trees. This is the shadow of the trees, and this is the snow, the moon shining on the snow coming through the little gap.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But you're right, it does look a little bit like a roof.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll change that a little bit too harsh.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bit better, hey. Right. So I'm just going to take a little bit of white. And I'm going to start just doing these little. So I'm very gently tapping where there might be some remnants of leaves that I've got covered in snow. Or very small branches. Just doing a few. Tapping very gently with some white. And I'm using a dry brush with not much on it.
Julie, I have to leave in a minute. When you've
Okay.
got a minute, can I just have a minute of feedback?
Absolutely. Let's just finish off this little bit and then I'm all yours.
I have to leave also, so if I could get some feedback for a moment.
Yeah.
I know we're near the end.
Yeah. I just want you to know what the last step is so we don't miss it. So I'm just tapping where there would be, you know, those kind of little spindly branches and they may have caught some clumps of snow. Or maybe there's some remnant leaves. So just very softly tapping. Just in a few places. And you can even use, you know, thin down, like watered down paint.